Welcome, everybody, to a special episode of the Popcorn Watchlist podcast, where we discuss and celebrate our favorites in TV and film. I am your host, Xavier, and once again, I am here with my fellow Watchlist panelists, Anthony, Danny, and Zach, for our follow-up on the massively popular, the massively entertaining Deadpool and Wolverine. This time around, we're going to hit all the crazy, massive spoilers that may or may not have already been leaked on the internet, but we decided to give everybody a little bit of time before we go right into it. So, suffice it to say, we're going right into super duper ultra spoiler town, and we're going in there with no filter. So be ready for all the wild stuff and a bit of crass language. So Zach, cover your ears.
Okay.
Earmuffs.
Earmuffs. God damn, no. Okay.
I'll listen to some Madonna while we're...
Yeah, if you just listen to Madonna, some NSYNC, and a little bit of Spandau Ballet.
Avril Lavigne.
And Avril Lavigne. Funny story, did you see her on the red carpet?
No.
Yeah, apparently she was on a red carpet with Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds in suits, and she's just looking like, you know...
Skater boy?
Yeah, she's looking still very skater boy. Like she just broke up with Sum 41 to start marrying Chad Kroeger from Nickelback, and then, you know, they got divorced now recently too. All right.
Did they? Wow.
Yeah. So, all right, cool. We're bringing it back. So, let's go right
Bring
into...
it back to Canada.
Yeah. Let's go right into some of the fun stuff. We're going to talk about how bonkers of an opening sequence this movie had, some of our other favorite moments, and the wild, over-the-top, and also fun Easter eggs and wild cameos that were out there too. So, let us get right into it. That intro sequence, I forgot what it was that somebody had mentioned. I don't know if someone mentioned like NSYNC's, like someone had a reference to NSYNC, but no one. That song had a resurgence from a whole new generation. Bar none. I guess that's what I'm gonna go with that. Like the fact that they kicked on and we had the accurate, like, down to every movement of the dance from the music video. Like if you watch them both back to, like, side by side, it's there. It's freaking hilarious. While he's, you know, mowing down TVA agents, which again I was first a little disturbed, but then we find out later on, I was like, oh, they're like a rogue cell of the TVA. So it's like, all right, I feel a little less bad about it. But yeah,
there were each like different unique kills too, with obviously Logan's body parts.
Yeah, we gotta talk about that at the beginning.
The very beginning is him
digging up
old Logan from the movie Logan, and he's dead.
Yeah, he's like, wonder if he's dead. Bring him back. No, oh, he's dead. Like, there's just an adamantium skeleton with funny clothes and a bit of a beard. Ryan Reynolds gets down to, and the writing gets down to some really fun stuff there. You know, some TVA agents find him, you know, hey, he's in this point doing stupid stuff, and a massive fight ensues. You'd think this is just a whole bunch of punchlines and whatever, but they spared no expense with this and quite a few other fight sequences. Like, we gotta talk about like mixing in, you know, fun NSYNC choreography, but at the same time, we got some really intricate fights, some really, like you said, really intricate kills, and some really like creative, like, camera shots and camera cuts. It was really fun.
All with dancing in the background.
I'm telling you, all with accurate dancing in the background. Like that was 100% down to it, with like the head bob, a little like
there was even a point where he was like holding the camera while he had like one of the TV agents like
took a selfie
in his hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few of that, like, just like.
And there was one where he like when it's showing like the credits with like the cast.
Mm-hmm.
There's one where he like fogs up the screen and draws a little heart.
Mm-hmm.
I think he does it on Miranda Baccarat. Yeah, that was pretty cool. It was like, oh, there she is. Like that was cool.
Like, just like when Hugh Jackman came, it was like on his skull when he was using his like skull and spine to kill people, and I don't remember Ryan Reynolds' name. I don't remember which bone.
Which bone had Ryan Reynolds on it? It wasn't the crotch? No. You'd expect.
The one that he like gently jerks after he like stabs a guy in the junk.
Yeah, and it's kind of like going back and forth, dude. That whole sequence make it stop. The guy's like, Mangold tried. It's not his fault. Yeah, there's a lot of like, callbacks, breaking fourth walls, references. The opening sequence gave us an idea, like, okay, this
sets the tone for
the movie. Yeah, it's gonna be funny. Yeah, it's gonna be raunchy, but it's gonna be done at a good quality.
And I also liked, it looked cool when he was actually using his claws. Like, he put his claws on, and then when it pauses, when he does like the stance
with the logo in the background.
Yeah, and then he's like, "Let me take you to whatever back a couple of weeks ago," and then the camera spins around him and then like stops on his butt. It's like, I don't know how many butt shots are in this movie, but
well, when he's suiting up, that's like 4 of them, and his butt's getting
spanked.
Which
crotch and butt spanks.
He's ready, and he's like, I'm pretty sure your tailor is a predator." Dude, I love that. Yeah, there are even the other fight sequences, like a little bit of what we saw in the trailers, where they're fighting like in the void with the Fox logo in the background. That was that whole fight was actually still done really well. Like, yeah, like Wolverine's getting shot, and then Deadpool's getting there's a lot of stabbings. Baby knife, remember Baby knife? Every time he uses it, he has to yell baby knife. Like, he has to yell baby knife, and again, like they found a way that's like. How interesting, the fact that they both just can't kill each other, even though
so it's just like never ending.
Yeah, a never ending. Like we're just gonna like use each other as human punching bags, and just good. Like someone else who can't die. The only thing is you're annoying as shit.
Well, like right before they started fighting, I think Deadpool even says like, "Let's give them what they want," like the audience or whatever.
He says, "Get your socks ready, nerds." Or he says something like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So that was cool. And then all while they're playing Hell's Bells in the background.
Yeah. The needle drops were, we mentioned in the previous episode, the needle drops were really appropriate when they came out, man. I think
and then he does the Flash Thompson dodge.
Yeah, true. Yeah, it's literally the Flash Thompson dodge. Even though
or
that's
I guess Peter
stuff.
Parker dodge when he's fighting Flash.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to fight me neither. I did see somebody make a reference in X2. They're driving away in the RX-7, and
when they stole Cyclops' car
Yep.
to go to their house, right? To go to Bobby's house.
To get to Bobby's house. And what's really hilarious there is that Pyro is like, I hate awkward silences, and they start playing in sync. They start playing Bye Bye Bye. It's like, oh, okay, like. I wonder if they knew that, or that's just a weird coincidence. I think it's a
feel like it would be a weird coincidence, yeah. But
I feel like he probably knew that.
Like he's been waiting to.
Yeah, he's like, "Hey guys, guess what? We have Hugh Jackman and Pyro in this movie. We got to do that.
We have to
super inside joke." I wouldn't be surprised because this movie has a lot of deep cuts.
There are
inside jokes.
There are a lot of stuff going on. Like I think that's a lot of what my favorite moments are. Like the whole bit where we go back and we have this whole thing where he tries to go initially, like after everything, he tries to like meet up with Happy Hogan to try to like sign up for the Avengers. Like there's not really tryouts or anything. Like it's not like you sign up. It's kind of there, and then like it's sort of an idea of a question of like what your purpose is. Like, is this something you really need, or is it just something that you kind of just do? And it kind of it's interesting enough because it gives Deadpool pause, and he's just like, oh, I don't know, I guess what I'm supposed to do with my life. And then cut to him being a car salesman, trying to upsell a Kia Carnival over a Honda Odyssey.
He was caught masturbating in the lobby of Stark Tower.
Masturbating.
And then he has to give Happy the whole description of what that is. He's like, I get it.
He's like, yeah, I get it. It's like, can we hug it? No, please don't. We don't do this. It's the part where we don't do this. And then I love that whole scene is it's like, oh, you're doing the stand-up? Oh, no, this isn't good. Like,
there is one part which I caught him the second time. He's like, "Oh, is the man coming in with like Tony Stark?"
Yeah,
and he's like, "No, he can't make it." He's like, "What? Cameos?"
Yeah, he's like, he doesn't do these type of things.
Yeah,
he's like, "What, cameos?"
He's like, he doesn't do these type of things, but cameos.
It's like so good.
And it's like, but he did it back for the Hulk. Incredible, but whatever. Anyway, nerds. And then that kind of goes into his whole like life right there. He's with.
He kept ribbing him too. He's just like,
yeah,
because he was saying that he was an Avenger. He's like, oh, I didn't know you were an Avenger.
Yeah.
He's like, adjacent.
Avengers adjacent.
And he kept like,
but you drive the car.
That he was the chauffeur.
Yeah, like, but you drive the car. And it's wild because like Jon Favreau's really good at doing the improv stuff, and Ryan Reynolds is like all the improv stuff. So I bet they had a lot of fun doing that scene. Man, to see the behind the scenes of that, I think alone would be great. But yeah, it gets to that point where like he kind of, Deadpool kind of feels that something that's going on. What's the name of this dude? Was it Peter?
Peter, yeah, the mustache friend.
The mustache, his friend, helping him sell cars and stuff. But he does his happy birthday thing, and that's where we kind of cut to the trailer with the whole TVA stuff. Matthew McFadyen, pretty cool.
Mr. Paradox.
Yeah, I like that. Like, it's funny because if you watch Loki and all the different like names of the different like agents in the TVA, and then they're like Hunter B-15 and Mobius E. Mobius, and then
Mobius,
and then it's like Mr. Paradox. Like, oh, okay, that's a pretty cool name. A little foreboding, like what's going on here, but yeah, that's another one of those where I'm pretty sure like Matthew McFadyen had a lot of fun like doing this.
He seemed
stuff.
like he had fun.
Yeah, I think the whole cast seemed in some way, shape, or form to have fun. And I think everyone was kind of like celebrating what was going on there too. So yeah, it was pretty awesome.
When he first invites him, or when they capture him to the TVA, and then they show all the different screens, and you see different clips from previous movies like the Avengers, and he's giving a salute to Captain America, and when he's telling him, it's like, hey, well, you have an opportunity to join the Avengers. And then he's like, hold on a second. And he runs to the camera and he's like,
I'm going to Disney.
Suck it, Fox. I'm going to Disney.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah,
and then he like smacks the camera with his head.
He's just like, I'm fucking going to Disney World. He like smashes the camera over. He's like, yeah. And that's when he notices that one screen where he's just like, wait, is Thor holding me? Why is he crying? He's like, it's in the future. Don't worry about it. We don't have to.
A part of me wants to imagine if like the camera wasn't like us watching him, if the camera was still on Paradox and he just sees Deadpool run and then like headbutt the wall or something like if that's what he sees. Like I wonder if like they're just like, what's this guy doing?
I'm pretty sure that's what's going on. There's like he's just like doing nothing. He's just like, what the hell? It's like we understand he's sort of important, but like then they have the whole anchor being plot exposition. That's why he's like, wow, that's a lot of exposition in like the first 15 minutes, dude. Like chill out.
I feel like for that part where he goes to talk to the camera, on the flip side, I was kind of expecting when the camera changed back to the original one that we would see the camera guy kind of like fumbling around.
No, I think that'd be too like that's like beyond fourth wall breaking. That's just like, hey, this is a movie. This is weird.
A fourth wall break inside a fourth wall break? That's like 16 walls.
16 walls. That's like 16 walls. Yeah. It's there, Deadpool's white and stuff. He gets a new suit. He gets molested by their tailor quite a few times.
He's Marvel Jesus.
Yeah, proclaiming to be Marvel Jesus, but then he realizes, oh, we don't have an anchor being, so I gotta go find ours. And so he starts doing probably one of the coolest sequences in like recent memory for all the comic book nerds and people who just love these movies. Is like, okay, I gotta find a Wolverine. And so he starts hopping over to all these different versions of Wolverine to try to get one to kind of come over and help. I shit you not. The theater's reactions when we get to quite a few of these, especially the first one, which was like, I was looking at him on the chair with the black shirt. I'm like, oh my God, it's a comic accurate height Wolverine. And he's like, oh, look, it's comic accurate Wolverine. The whole place starts losing their mind because everybody's in on the joke.
You have to like flop down from the high chair.
He's jump off. It's just like, what the hell? And he still kind of like kicked his ass.
What a good montage.
That montage is the coolest thing.
I recognize most of them, not all of them. Like Patch, I didn't really know much about that version of Wolverine.
That's just his disguise, but everybody knows who he is when he's in Madripoor.
The ones that I know about were the Age of Apocalypse one, because I remember that cover and that comic because my brother had it.
Yeah, with the missing hand.
I definitely remember the cover with him like crucified on the X.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very iconic comic cover.
I sent a video or a reel earlier on Instagram where it has like
their breakdowns,
like where they're from.
Yeah, people have no shame.
And then
but people are still watching them.
Him from the first his first issue with the Hulk.
Oh, yeah.
With the
Yeah,
brown,
that was a
brown
cool
unit.
one.
What's really cool is that it actually was with him and like the reflection on the adamantium claws with the original brown suit, which
He just didn't have
he
the
didn't,
cowl.
he didn't have the cowl over.
But it still looked awesome.
The brown and orange suit looks so damn good. Like it made me think of that deleted scene at the end of the Wolverine where they kind of gifted him the suit.
Man, I know it looked cool too.
It looked really cool.
And they did nothing with it.
No,
but hey, we got some payoff in this one. Yeah,
but in that scene when he teleports there, he's like, "Wait a minute,
Isn't this where you fight the Hulk?
Yeah,
He's like, you're wearing the original clothes.
You're wearing the original clothes. This is the one where you fight. Whoa! It's like, oh, and then he just gets like annihilated by the Hulk.
And he gets like pushed and like impaled, or he gets smacked into like trees or something.
Yeah, he dies like Logan died.
Well, he didn't die, but
yeah, he didn't die, but he got like Logan.
And then we cut into the cavalry.
well, this is when
But it like you get like the first portion of it, and then it cuts to the other variants, and then it goes back to this one.
it was a good mind game.
Yeah.
Because it was a montage of him first visiting each one, and then like you said, at first he visits that one, he just sees them from behind, but then it cuts to the other ones, and then you see all the other ones that they're Hugh Jackman. So you just think, okay, it's just another Hugh Jackman.
It's like, oh, this might be the one that we get, but not at the bar or something, and then. Yeah, it's surprise in your eyes.
He's like, oh, you kind of from the back, you kind of look like him. Oh,
It's the
He
cavalry.
goes, oh my fuck, it's cavalry.
Yeah,
what a name!
it's cavalry.
Yep,
Come
with his-
on over. We'll treat you so much better than those shitbags across the street. Like,
Yeah,
I
and
was
then-
like, this is great.
And then he does the,
Dude, he has
the
a
Mission
cigar.
Impossible, like
Yeah, he
He
does
has
the
the arm
freaking
cock,
reload,
but then whips out
with the claws, and he
It's like,
smacks
man,
his
this is
face.
amazing.
But I didn't get because like obviously he punched him with the claws out, but it's like he didn't get stabbed. He got like just knocked.
He got stabbed and
He got
knocked
stabbed
out.
and knocked back.
That's just how
just got
strong the
stabbed.
punch
Like
was.
yeah. If you were a normal person, you would have double died. But
Yeah.
it's not.
Deadpool's just like, that
He's
was
strong,
cute.
like he's not like super strength, but like it's enough to push him over because the adamantium like mass.
I mean, he
moving
looked
mass.
really big though.
But also, it's Henry
Yeah.
Cavill.
Yeah, Henry
so he's
Cavill got
jacked.
big. Like, I wonder how hard he worked out just for that one scene.
Yes.
Like, that's crazy.
No, that's just his normal.
Yes.
That's just his
baseline.
That's just his baseline. Come on.
That's his D&D outfit. That's what.
Yeah. No, that's his Warhammer like gaming session.
But yeah, like they show him like fixing his bike. He has a white tank top, and you can see from the side he's smoking a cigar. So like that's like the classic
Logan,
badass Wolverine Logan look. And so that's why I was like, oh, this is what I'm talking about. And then no, it's not Hugh Jackman.
No, surprise.
But yeah, and then during this whole montage, they're playing Kenny Loggins, right? Or Huey Lewis.
No. Was it Huey Lewis? Yeah. Yes, it
Huey
was.
Lewis, not Kenny Loggins.
Yeah. Power of Love. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is hilarious. That's just, especially with like the old man Logan where he just gets shot with the shotgun. It's like, what is going on?
He like gets up to like the front of the house.
Yeah.
And he's saying some nonsense like, "Hey, we're doing some auditions or something." And then
Yeah.
once he like lifts his face up, he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry." And he just gets shot.
Yeah.
Like, without
He's
even
just
like turning around.
He's like, I'm sorry. This is the old man Logan one. Nope. And just, he's like, no. Just get the hell out of here.
And then he teleports into the one where he's on the X.
Yeah.
Where there's just skulls everywhere. He's like, "Oh, this is definitely not the right one."
Yeah. It's like, this can't be
It's
it.
not
I'm
me,
so
it's
sorry.
you.
Yeah. No,
and
thanks.
he's like, he just leaves him there. He's like,
Which comic or which storyline is that one from?
It's just a comic cover, but for like an ongoing story. Like it's
I don't remember the story, but I remember the enemies in that one.
yeah. The Reavers
Yes.
actually crucify him in the Australian outback. That's right. Yeah.
That's
It's
funny. Australia.
It's a cross. They turned it into an X
Because he's Australian.
because Uncanny X-Men Volume 1, issue 251. But anyway, thanks internet. Yeah, dude. That whole sequence was only like the beginning.
Yeah, he's getting the crap beat out of him from the Age of Apocalypse one with like the metal part.
Yeah,
he doesn't have a hand. He just has like a metal stub.
and he has the wild hair too, like from that comic book. So that was really cool. I was hoping we would get like the other Days of Future Past one, like the one with him and like Kitty Pryde, where he's like with the jacket and running away. But that was cool. No, we got a lot of
it
that.
was good enough. They had a lot of some different variety, and then we got the cameo,
Yeah, we got the Cavill,
which
cameo.
I didn't see coming.
No, I did not either. I hit everybody. Like
'Cause
the whole theater blew up like the first time we all watched it. Like it was out of hand.
There were rumors for like a year of like that all these different possible Wolverines might be different actors. That people were saying maybe Daniel Radcliffe and maybe this guy, Taron Egerton from what do you call it, the Kingsman movies,
And Elton John.
yes.
The Rocket
I
Man.
was about to say, I'm like, wait, Elton John was going to be Wolverine,
No.
Wolverine variant.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that didn't end up happening, and then but they got the one.
They got the one.
I'll take the
Henry
one.
Cavill, yeah.
Surprise. They probably threw a lot of those out there just to mess with people.
Yeah, I mean that's good. If you want to keep something
Yeah.
secret, then start throwing out fake
Names.
rumors.
And then that's where we kind of get to like the current, Logan that we know, which is cool. It's like he's at the bar, just kind of doing his thing, like another bar scene. But we get to whatever's there in the trailer. It's cool. He actually has like the yellow and blue suit under that.
On all the time.
So I was like, oh, that's cool. He has it on. Like we find out why later, but it's like that whole bit where you can tell like this one's damaged because like he hits him with like that cool gun that Deadpool's had for so long. He's just like, and he just kind of gives him the like, kind of like maniacal smile, just like
into the gun.
just do it. What do you think?
It
is gonna
says, "Smile, wait for the flash."
happen? Yeah, smile, wait for the flash. Like he's like, okay, buddy.
And then he just chugs a whole bottle.
Good lord, him being a good thing he has a healing factor because I don't know what any normal person would have friggin' liver failure by now, but cool mutant powers. Mutant powers like
Didn't Deadpool make a joke about that? About the
he
liver?
did. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did, but it was. Yeah, that's later on, I think, in the these people's hideouts. But they kind of like go through all of that. They bring him back into the TVA. He's like, "Look, I got one," and then that's where they end up instead. Just
It's like, you got the worst one.
yeah, he's like literally the worst one. He's like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Yeah, it's the absolute worst one." He let his whole world down. He's like, oh, "But he's here," and then that's where Logan gets mad, and then they start pruning everybody. It's like they prune the both of them, and then that's where. It's like, oh snap, this is all happening. They're in the void. Like that's really cool that they able to bring that in.
Oh, there's that one agent that's like in love with Deadpool when he got his suit on.
Yeah, was it the one guy in the desk?
Yeah, and then he like pretend to call someone. He's like, "Who are you calling? Your wife?"
Yeah,
He's like, "No, HR." He's like, "Does your wife work at HR?"
yeah, does your wife work in HR? Like, it's freaking great. He's like, hey buddy, yeah.
And then Paradox was saying like, "Oh, I'd accept any other."
Yeah, any other Wolverine except for this
that one.
Yeah, this is the absolute worst. Just literally the worst. But at that point, yeah, they get sent in, and that's when we find out the whole thing where like, they're stuck in the void. That's where we start getting all the other wild cameos. Pretty sure one of those cars was a Fantastic car.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it was.
like the Fantastic car. We had a couple weird dune buggies.
The one from
The
2007.
Yes.
One.
Yeah.
With a Hemi?
Pyro had that blinged out car. Was that a Red Skull's car? It looked like a dump.
The one
version.
with the flames on it?
Yeah.
No, I think it was just it might have been Red Skull's car, but I think
From the first Avenger?
Yeah, I think it had
Yeah.
like an Iron Man logo on the front of it though, so I don't know whose car it is.
Okay. But yeah, there's a lot of fun Easter eggs that you can find in the void, and kind of like what we saw like in season 1 of Loki. But there's a whole bunch of other stuff there too. Anybody? I can't off the top of my head remember. Did anyone catch anything? I know there's like it might have been another helicarrier and some other stuff. Obviously the Fox logo.
There's
the Fox logo. There's the Secret Wars.
Yeah, the
comic.
Secret comic.
Yeah.
And then I had mentioned to you before we talk about one of the cameos that came out. There was a Captain America helmet
Yes.
on the floor
Yeah, there was a
with
old, with the
a
wings.
shield.
Yeah, it had like the old wings.
Yeah.
Like the classic.
Was that Captain
wings.
America or Thor?
No,
it was
it's
Captain
America. Like it was the Captain America helmet, not the Thor
Because
helmet.
sometimes Thor has wings on his
Yeah.
helmet.
Yeah, but the MCU
But it was
Thor
with
one has
the-
like the metal ones.
It was with like the old retro Captain America shield. Like
Yeah, with
Okay.
Not the circular one,
Oh,
but the
okay. The
the
kind of like the
chevron
Legend
one.
of Zelda one.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then after that, that's where we see Chris Evans.
Who was it? Chris Evans, like, oh my god, yes, he's here, and then like the whole point, like, how wild that, like, I knew when he came out, I was like, oh, that's who he is. This is great. Like, I think there was always the rumor that he was gonna come back as Human Torch. So
Yeah.
it was like, I'm like, oh, he's gonna do it, isn't he? He's like, all right, cool.
But I saw
They
like
mind gamed
his
it, yeah.
neck,
'cause it was
Yeah.
like, he still had like the dark blue.
He had some of the dark
He
blue
even
on
had
it.
like sleeves that had like, I think, red and
Yeah.
blue, and so they
But
kind
I
of made it
feel
look
like for whatever reason, I saw like the dark blue. Like, shirt, and
I was calling it.
and I was like, oh,
sitting-
I
I was sitting.
I'm just like, Johnny Storm. We got Johnny Storm. Let's go. And he does the whole flame on. And oh wait, before that, like
Deadpool's like, he's gonna say
he's
it.
gonna say it.
He's gonna say it.
And then he says flame on. He goes, wait, what?
because he was
Avengers flame on. Like, what? But beforehand, after they have their the Wolverine and Deadpool have their first fight, that whole crew shows up, and then we get Tyler Mane as Sabretooth.
Mhm.
That was a nice little callback.
Oh, and during their fight with him and Deadpool, Wolverine went on all fours and like rushed at him on all fours.
He did like
Yeah.
the real stance,
kind of
he's
like what
just,
Sabretooth did in the
first one.
Origins movie.
Oh, in Origins?
Yeah.
Oh, Leaf Schreiber.
Schreiber.
Imagine if they would have brought back Leaf Schreiber. Just
the weird, the leaping.
dude. And then whatever. That Origins.
But he looked pretty good doing that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it was only just like that one
Just that
first
one
like
clip.
strike.
Which
Yeah.
is fine.
Yeah, and then he
And then
turned
he,
around. I was like, all right, enough of this.
yeah, enough of this. And then I
But right before
he got
was-
ahead of himself.
right before he was about to fight Sabretooth, Deadpool's like, wait, no, you look like crap. Takes off the swords from him.
Yeah, he's like, wait.
The two swords, and it goes, baby, no.
Yeah.
And
He has like bullet holes all over his body, and then he has like the
He's like-
gashes from the sword.
The sword is like, oh yeah, that's got to come out. That.
And he's like trying to explain to him, like, all right, first you got to do this. He's like, shut the fuck up. And he's like, oh my god.
There's so many like
He's
Hugh
so
Jackman's,
angry at
shut
Deadpool.
the fuck up. Like there's so many times where he's just telling him to
like
shut the
each
fuck
time
up.
he gets angrier,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
he's like, what?
That culminates into one final one that's really hilarious, but also poignant. Yeah, that whole bit happens. He kills Sabretooth finally because
Yeah.
hey, we got a
In one
competent
swoop.
Wolverine. Yeah, in one anime swipe. And then Johnny Storm. They're alluding to like the big bad, and Chris Evans is getting ready. He's like, oh, okay, cool, all right, I gotta help out, and he hits him with the flame on, and like Pyro just like, give me your flame. Like that's broken. Like.
Pyro's
Yeah.
strong, man.
Like that was way more broken than I thought it was gonna be. Like they made him pretty OP. Like without the flamethrowers. Like remember the flamethrowers in
He was literally there
Well-
just to be able to.
yeah,
to
he was there
match
to
up.
he was there to like hard
Oh.
counter like Johnny Storm. That's messed up.
And of course they came with their cars upon cars that looked like Mad Max. Even
They did the Furiosa reference
with the
with the head.
like the what do you call it? Not even the head, like where they had motorcycles or
Two
cars
motorcycles.
Yeah.
dragging another huge whatever. It looked almost like
Sean
a parade.
Lee-
It looked
Sean
like
Lee
a
was
parade
George
float.
Miller. Can we try to do
It
something?
looked like a parade float, kind of like they should have had a guy. They should have had a Doof Warrior,
Doof Warrior?
playing guitar, but
He was like, this is
and
copyright
they would have been playing
infringement.
and they would have been playing the X-Men theme. Like that would have been great.
that's when he grabs Sabretooth's head, right? When he
Yeah.
starts yelling like, "This is your queen,
Yeah, exactly.
Furiosa."
Yeah, this is Furiosa. That was nuts. Yeah, like a lot of stuff they didn't hold back on, except for the part in the birthday party where they do the whole cocaine line. Apparently, like that was real.
Yeah.
Like that was a real like conversation. It's like, hey, like this can't be drugs, and they're like, really? And then
That's it?
It's like that's the drug stuff. We can get away with everything else, but no drugs. Like, oh, okay.
But it was a good line. Even though it was in the trailer, it was still pretty cool.
It was still funny. Yeah. It's like, do you want to build snowman? No. Yes, but I can't.
Hi, Yu-Gi-Oh.
Oh my god. Hi, Yukio. Every time. Hi, Wade.
It's a hair system.
It's a hair system. I like your system, Wade. And then Negasonic is still giving him shit forever. Like, and then Colossus is just. I like how Colossus is still there, like just like supportive friend, like being there, and obviously you have Peter, you have Vanessa, Dopinder. Like you can't go wrong with Dopinder. I kind of wish there was more Dopinder in the movie. I'll be honest with you. Who else were we missing? He's like, yeah, these 9 people.
Shatterstar was there from Deadpool 2.
Shatterstar was? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The alien dude.
Yeah. It's like these 9 people are like my world, but no Cable or Domino, which made me sad, but that's okay.
I was kind of hoping that Cable would have appeared, because the way that the movie ended, the second movie ended, it seemed like he would.
Yeah, he'd
be
stick around. Yeah.
Well, they fixed his thing, so I guess he was able to go back to his time.
Yeah, he's just like, hey, can I borrow this really quick? And then that's when Deadpool did all the
Just
shenanigans.
wiping the time, cleaning the timeline.
Yeah, they actually reference that as like, oh, that stuff you did with the watch. Yeah, don't worry about it. It's not important.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
That was also the red flag. I was like, I don't know. I think
I'm
Paradox.
pretty sure they would care about that.
Yeah, I was like, Paradox may not. He's trying to be doing something here. Yeah, then the whole bit with like the dead giant man, and we got the line from the trailers. It's like, wow, Paul Rudd aged, and then that's where we finally meet Emma Corrin's Cassandra Nova, which we talked about in part 1, like how good she was a villain, but like that whole bit where like she just like blinks Johnny's skin off, like that was nuts because yeah, like in the comics she's not that OP, so I was like holy shit, like how does anybody even step up to this chick like at all? Like there's no way. And then there's a whole bunch of like other like weird like other variants and other stuff in there, like
we have
hanging out with her.
We have a bunch. I have the list here. Well, we have Pyro,
rattle down the list.
Juggernaut.
Yeah, we have a Juggernaut.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not Vinny. No,
I thought
Juggernauts.
I thought it was Vinny Jones, but it was
Most of these are all
So,
recasted.
They were recasted.
Yeah, so it's the same guy from Free Guy. That was the big muscle dude with Ryan Reynolds' face.
Yeah.
It was the guy who was the body.
The body.
Yeah.
We got Blob.
What? There was a blob there?
There was a blob.
Wow,
there.
so it wasn't
Yeah, I saw that there too.
Kevin Durant.
We
Yeah,
have Toad.
Was
Yeah,
that
there
Ray
was a
Park?
Toad. I don't know if it was Ray Park. I don't think so. Ray
No,
Park
it says
won't
Daniel
know.
Medina Ramos is Toad.
Oh,
not
so
Ray
not
Park.
Ray Park.
Okay.
Lady Deathstrike.
Yeah, there was a
I
lady
don't think that
Deathstrike.
was Kelly
That's
Lou
not
at
Kelly
all,
Lou.
yeah.
That's Jade Lai.
Yeah,
That's
another Azazel,
Azazel.
and then another random Psylocke.
Eduardo Garza.
And Psylocke.
Not Olivia Munn.
Not Olivia Munn. No.
And they had that character from X-Men 3 who she could read like power levels. I don't remember her name, but it wasn't the same actress.
No.
But she was kind of like always hanging around with Magneto because she was like, I can read power levels.
Yeah, it's like, oh, they're strong.
yeah,
and
yeah,
not.
Oh yeah, like she said, he's a level 3 mutant or
Yeah,
whatever.
she was like,
would say.
Magneto's like level 5. You're an awesome.
Yeah, he's Omega
They're
level.
beasts. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they were even talking about like, oh, there's Magneto's here, but I whooped him. It's like, oh shit, Cassandra Nova's the real deal.
And there was also Bullseye.
There was a
of all
Bullseye.
people?
Yeah, there was a Bullseye.
Like way in the background.
Right, yeah.
Not Colin Farrell.
Definitely not Colin Farrell.
And then
Because he was paralyzed. They paralyzed him at the end of that Daredevil movie. Spoilers for Daredevil from 2000 what?
3.
And it wasn't the Bullseye from season 3 of
From
Daredevil.
season 3 of Daredevil either.
And then there's also Quill, the guy from
Peter?
That guy.
Peter Quill?
No.
the guy from the third movie that
X-Men 3.
he makes the spikes.
Ken Lo.
Spikes, yeah.
Yeah, that guy.
But it wasn't him.
Yeah, it was with other uncredited.
He hugged
Miles
somebody.
from- Miles from Lost.
He hugged somebody and then
killed
stabbed him with it. I was like, that's kind of messed up. Yeah, that was a weird way to kill somebody. But
Because here it says with other uncredited actors portraying Callisto and Quill. So.
Oh, Callisto. That's the character's name.
Callisto.
That was her name. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, okay.
So yeah, like 3 or 4 of them were kind of like prominent, and then all the others were kind of just in the background. That's why we barely noticed that they were there.
But the cool thing is that they put those characters in the background, but still like to put some care behind it. It's not like, hey, you're just gonna wear rags and just like do
random
stuff.
people.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, like be somebody. Like that's cool. Like you're
But-
this person.
This also ties into later when we get to another sequence. When we come back and obviously
Yeah.
have a fight sequence.
No, the whole sequence, how they got the hell out of there when Elias shows up, is like, oh, cool. That's still a thing here in the void.
The best part is like, what's that? Oh, you mean from Loki season 5?
Yeah.
Season 1, episode 5?
Episode Elias from season 1, episode 5. I'm telling you that he does that shit in the comics.
It's so
like,
good.
I think one point there's one comics where he runs into Bullseye, and Bullseye like, oh hey Deadpool, it's been a while, and he's like, yeah, issue blah 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 blah, and then he's like, what? Yeah, don't worry about it. Like the stuff made him crazy, and that was a cool sequence. She's just like, yeah, I'm gonna go away now. Elias not gonna touch me. Like apparently that's strong that Elias not like
They get on a sentinel.
a sentinel leg.
Is it a
Leg.
sentinel leg?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Or what do you think it is? Like
I have no idea.
a Hulkbuster leg?
I could never get a good look at it.
When
To
it's
me, it
looked
looked
at,
like
it
a
looked like a
sentinel leg. It had
sentinel
like a like worn purple.
Maybe Hulkbuster, maybe Iron Man's suit or something like that.
It's huge,
or the
though.
Ironmonger, maybe.
An Ironmonger. Yeah, but it was massive. Like it was really
I mean,
big.
if it was massive, yeah. I mean, I would think it's a sentinel leg.
Sentinel. Yeah.
And
I gotta watch it the third
once
time.
they
Rocket punch. Yeah,
fly
that's the whole.
away.
The whole thing is just basically watch this movie again and again.
Did we talk about last week when Cassandra Nova first shows up and she kind of just like sticks Wolverine in the ground? She's like, "All right, get out of here!" And like his claws are just sticking out, but
Yeah,
he's in the ground.
Yeah, I
That was
remember
pretty
that.
cool.
And then I think like he
Then he
stab
came
her?
back after.
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
stabbed her,
after-
and then
yeah.
nothing.
She's talking with Deadpool, and then she messes with
She's
Deadpool's
like,
head.
Oh no,
Her-
psych!
with
Right
her
here.
fingers in their head,
Yeah.
in his head. He's like,
It was a weird power, but
it looked cool.
It looked cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Definitely something new.
That was her way of just like of being able to like when you get into someone's brains, so like oh like you know
I liked his reaction to it.
yeah. He's like what do you say? Get your
Your fingers are inside me, but not in a good
Not in a
way.
good
He's like, and then he's like, "Where's the intimacy coach?" Or
Yeah.
what's that position that they
yeah, it's
have
the
on movie
intimacy
sets?
coach. Yeah. It's just like where's the intimacy coach here? It's just kind of like all over the place, and then you know she does the same thing to Logan. It's just like oh damn, like that's nasty. Just enough to get you out. Yeah.
Yeah, Wolverine stabs her, and then she's like, "All right," like it was nothing.
Yeah,
and
she's like, "Oh, no, I'm dead, psych."
You'll be eaten by a lion." And they're like, "Oh crap, we gotta leave." And then
Yeah.
Then we
Then
fly
they get to
away
the little
to
grasslands or whatever, and that's when we
meet
Nice
Dog
Pool.
and Nice Pool.
and Dogpool. God bless Dogpool.
well, when they land, and then like Deadpool's on top of him, he's like, "Move! I gotta get my hands from like I guess like
Yeah.
under him or his butt." And Wolverine's
Yeah.
like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
He's like, "I'm just trying to get my gun out."
trying to
of
get
here."
my gun out of your hip. He's kind of like
He says, "Get your mind out of my pants."
get your mind out of my pants. And he says, get your steak knives out.
And then he
Like,
says,
when
"I'm telling Blake."
you're- Yeah. He's like, I'm telling Blake. Good lord. And yeah, that's how we end up running. Yeah, like the whole nice pool sequence. I was like, dude, what is going on? Like, it's just you know, Ryan Reynolds with a really long man bun. It's super pretty, and with the ugliest dog of all time.
He's like, "Why aren't you wearing a mask?" And he's like, "Look at
He's like, just look at me. Like, why? Why would you do this? But he has those badass, like, gold-plated 50 caliber Desert Eagles. Like, Deadpool's just like, I want your dog and your guns. And your car. Which just so happens to be a car that he disparaged earlier in the movie. Trying to sell a family a Kia Carnival in a test drive. And then they bring back... This is honestly... This character is the ultimate, like, scene stealer... unsung hero of the movie. The Honda Odyssey.
yeah."
The freaking Honda Odyssey.
Oh, the dog's name is Peggy.
Yeah, Peggy.
Mary
Peggy-
Poppins.
Mary Poppins. Dude, she really is just that damn ugly. Like that. She's like a cross between like a pug and something, but like it was
That
just
tongue.
so bad. But like, hey, we're gonna. God bless her owners for having the love that she gets. But that's where we get the whole sequence. And you know, he like cons Nice Pool into the car, you know, because he tried to run away with the dog. But then, you know, we get to that moment where that's their second fight because like they're road tripping and they're kind of getting on each other's nerves. And
That second fight was fantastic.
yeah, but that also hit all like the wild emotional gut punch stuff because that's where he kind of realizes like, oh, I might have fibbed. Where he's just like, yeah, I'm the merc with a mouth, not the Timmy Truth, whatever, the blowjob queen of Saskatoon.
And
And
he also says, he was saying like, "Oh, you know, it was an educated wish."
an educated
He's like,
wish. Like the way he says that is like the ultimate of just like why would anyone say educated wish?
Yeah,
and then
The whole reason Wolverine's still with him because he said, "Hey, the TVA can."
hopefully fix
Fix your
what-
world.
No, not hopefully. He said,
He's like-
"If we take you back, they'll send you back and fix your reality." And he made it sound like it was for sure. And then at that moment, he said, "If they do it," he's like, "What did you say?"
If he's like, what do you mean if? Oh, and before that, you can tell like some of the scenes are coming apart. They're at the that diner that's all crashed down.
Mm-hmm.
They took away that scene from the trailer where it's just like he's like, "Can you put your mask back on?" It's like it's really hard to eat with it on. It's like, and then he'd see that. So the response is like, "Oh, it's really hard to eat with it off." Like I was like, "Damn, that's really funny," but no, like.
Yeah, I'm surprised they took that out.
Yeah, that would have been a good one, but we still got some good stuff, and then that was where like they started getting tracked, and we find out the whole like subplot of like Paradox has Cassandra Nova there just like as a reason. It's sort of like a detente kind of thing because she's like, yeah, I could get out if I want to, but why? Like I think the Void's great, and we then run into that that emotional gut punch of Wolverine's rant, and it actually shuts up Deadpool for a while. I love that. Like, what's wrong with mouth? Like, got nothing to say, and he's just
like, I'm gonna fight you now.
And then they start playing. What was it? Oh yeah, they had that scene when they were driving. That's when Greatest Showman played. Like
it plays
when
they start fighting.
They start fighting,
and
right?
then he like punches his face into the radio.
For a second.
He punches Deadpool's face into the radio, right? Yeah, and that's when Greatest Showman.
Yeah, because Deadpool got a free lick and like broke his nose or something.
Yeah, and it's like, wow.
There's a video that they played, like I've seen on Instagram, where they highlight like Hugh Jackman just gets so serious in like a second after he gets punched. Like the change of
yeah, because he laughed and like,
yeah, he was laughing and then he just gets punched, starts bleeding and like super serious. And
yeah.
Oh yeah, I think the caption was like, oh, it's funny how Hugh Jackman goes from like snorting laughing
to
like straight serious in a split second.
Quality
like,
acting.
Good moment.
Quality acting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that whole fight sequence, they just tore that Honda Odyssey in like almost tore it into new one. Like he kicked him through the panoramic roof, which was the whole selling point. I love at the very end after all like they just like fought each other's senses, so they just like got tired out and
at the end he's wrapped through the seatbelt.
They were fighting to the Grease song.
Yes, that's the very yes. I forgot about that. And then yeah,
he's wrapped
in the seatbelt, and then they get up.
They fought for hours.
Yeah, they fought for hours.
Well, I mean, because neither of them really can die.
Yeah, they can't die.
They just like keep healing.
I mean, it's just the fact that they go non-stop back and forth for hours
in such an enclosed space. It's just like holy shit, this is nuts. And that's when we get the whole. He's like, wow, the Honda Odyssey fucks hard.
And that's when he's like in the back seat, and then he like calls Wolverine to like continue fighting him in the back seat.
Yeah, it's just like, all right, it's like that back in. Oh man, and like from that whole sequence, it then ties into like the ultimate like other big like massive cameos that we finally got in this movie. And suffice it to say, like, is the whole idea of like, oh, like, are we gonna the trailer? If we saw TV spots or something, you might have been ruined by one of them. But we did get Daphne Keane back as Laura, which was cool. But the other three were a wild-ass surprise to me. Like, I remember hearing a rumor about Wesley Snipes. I was like, man, there's no way. Like, there's no way he'd want to do that. Like, there's a lot of stuff in the past. I don't think they'd do that again. And then, like, I'm like, oh, like, Jennifer Garner's Elektra? That makes sense. Like, that could probably happen. So, like, she shows up. I was like, okay, cool. Nice. Jennifer Garner's here.
So, I know about her because they announced her. Like, she was in the movie.
Yeah.
Like, it was an actual press release or an article. So,
Jennifer Gardner joins Deadpool Wolverine.
I looked up an article and I saw...
But I didn't know about the other ones. Yeah, I didn't know about the other ones.
I didn't even know about Jennifer Garner, to be honest.
He's like, who's Jennifer Garner? You never watched Alias?
Elektra Nachos.
Nachos. When Blade came out and that score was playing, like that music or whatever was playing.
LFG song.
Yeah. I just remember everyone in the movie theater was like...
It got like one of the biggest
hyped.
pops.
Yeah.
It was like that and the Cavalry got like one of the biggest pops.
I think Blade got a bigger one, at least where we were.
Yeah, no, Blade got it because, dude, I remember because I think I was next to my sister, and what was cool is that it was like we went together to watch Blade in the theater.
Oh,
I
wow.
remember us thinking it was like the first like modern like comic book movie or whatever based off comics.
You were too young
And
to
we're like,
watch that.
no, I was not. That
Yes, you
needed
were.
to happen.
You were like 11 or 12.
Yeah, so I watched Under Siege when I was like 6 or something. Like that was inappropriate. But yeah, like seeing Wesley Snipes back in there, like really that like hit me right in the nostalgia. But the fact that like dude can still sort of move, like it still kind of has some of the moves because he's a martial artist too.
And
really
then
good.
We got the guy
Dude,
finally
the
made
guy.
it as
The
Gambit.
funniest thing in the movie.
It was the funniest, but also like wildly
The most
impactful.
surprising,
Because I was
yeah.
like, dude, there's no way they did this, and it's just like,
Like
legit?
knowing
Super inside joke.
yes.
knowing how he was gonna be Gambit, he was announced as Gambit years ago,
Over a decade ago,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah,
and he finally got to do it.
he finally got to do it, man. Like,
It must be nice to be friends with Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah,
Because he showed up in Free Guy, so I guess he was just like, hey,
Dude,
you
his
want- he was like,
cameo-
hey, you want to do another cameo?
yeah,
I was like,
his cameo in Free Guy was hilarious. Like, this
well,
is-
also Chris Evans had the cameo. In
Yes,
he did. Yeah, dude. But yeah, the Gambit showing up was kind of wild. I was like, dude, what is happening here? This is real. Like, he had the weird like headgear and the comb over thing, and I was like, dude, he has like the actual like X-Men cartoon like
yeah,
outfit.
He has the coat and everything.
The
He has,
coat
like,
and
comic
everything.
accurate look.
Yeah,
And then
like,
the seeing the cards in live action with the glow.
yeah, with the purple glow and there's kinetic energy that blow up.
He had the glow.
He's got the glow,
and then of course the accent.
dude.
The ultimate act.
The ultimate. You know what? That accent reminded me of that one dude from Waterboy. That like you can't understand a word he's saying. Like that guy. Like,
Farmer Friend?
yes. Yeah, that reminded me of that dude. Like completely.
Sean's dad from Boy Meets World?
Yes. Like that was the whole thing going on. I was like, what is happening here? It's just like. It's just his accent, and that's the whole point. Like Deadpool making a point, just going like, "Who the like?" I can't understand
Deadpool
anything
says,
he's saying.
You look like a superhero version of Hawkeye.
Yeah.
I was like, damn. What
That's-
did Hawkeye do to you?
That was messed up. That hurt. That one hurt. I was like, dude, what the hell? That was unnecessary. Me being the Hawkeye fanboy, but still really funny. It's like you look like the superhero version of Hawkeye. Well, also in the Ultimate Comics, Hawkeye has something similar to that, and he has goggles on. But that's like a different like version of Hawkeye. Anyway, yeah, that whole bit where it's like Wolverine's just there too, like because they've been brought in there, and Wolverine's just grabbing a giant bottle of Jim Beam, and then he gets a giant bottle of Jack Daniels, starts drinking it all too, and at that point, that's where he's just like, oh, it's a courtesy. What do you say about it? It's a courtesy of asking before you take in somebody's liquor, but like.
And he cuts the bottle in half with his card, and then he just takes another bottle.
Yeah, he just goes shrink. He's like, oh, all right, let's get another one. That was it's just that whole scene with these guys, like the.
Well, they mind game me because so there's a scene in the car, and then after it shows that like they were fighting all night, then it shows the aftermath of them both being like tired and knocked out. Then it shows some boots coming, and someone's there to like pick them up. And then the next scene is that scene that they're in this temple. They show on the wall, it looked like to me
A statue of
Scarlet Witch. So I was like, is Scarlet Witch about to pop up? Which I would have never guessed that was going to happen. But
I
she
heard
didn't.
a few people talk about.
Dude, I was like,
That would have been amazing.
like my eyes were like, what? Like
That if they were gonna
how are
do
they going to
like
explain this?
If they're gonna do like somebody needs to fight Cassandra Nova, like that would make sense for it to be her.
But I guess it was just like the mural that was on
The
that
same
wall.
one,
from from the Mount
Multiverse
Wonderborn or
Madness,
whatever it was. Yeah. Dude, like that
But yeah,
was.
the whole interaction between Deadpool and all three of these people, of Elektra, Blade, and Gambit, is just
But-
like it's like 5 minutes of them talking back and forth to each other, and it's just hilarious nonsense.
My favorite was he's like, I thought you were retired.
I thought you were what? Retired. He's like retarded. He's like, no. I got sent to the void. I don't want to get canceled.
And then he goes, "I don't like you."
He's like, I don't like you. He's like, you never did. Yeah, there are so many inside jokes, callbacks, and other things just in that whole sequence alone. Like, again, the fact that like it's just like oh, like where's It's like, oh, where's your husband?
Well,
or what did he say? Like, oh, where's Daredevil? He's like, like, it's like, oh, you must miss Daredevil. And she goes like,
Yeah, well, they were talking about that they used
People
to
that
have
have
more
gone,
people in their crew, but
Yeah.
people that have gone up to try to like fight her have passed away, and they mentioned
Like Punisher.
and then he's like, which one? There's like 5 of them.
Yeah.
Punisher and Daredevil, and then he goes to looks like Elektra and says, like, oh man, I'm sorry about that. She's like, oh, it's okay.
He's like, sorry. He's like, yeah. It's like Daredevil. Oh, sorry. She's like, yeah, that's fine. Like, she's over it.
And then Gambit was like, I think I was born here.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know where I came from because everybody had movies except Gambit. She's like, I don't know where I came from. And he says the most out of pocket line, probably one of the most out of pocket lines in the movie, except for that one like random crazy stuff that Chris Evans does that he was quoted for. But I can't even like. I don't know if I have. Anthony, do you have that line?
I have one of the lines because near the end when they're like trying to formulate their plan, and then when they're all trying to say like, yeah, we're ready, and then he just Gambit goes, I didn't know my daddy, but I sure as shit shot out of his dick ready. And then he does that other line of like, once I popped out of my mom, I said, hey, what's up, doc? Or he says some random thing like
That's
with
like-
his ridiculous accent.
His ridiculous
So like
accent.
you don't understand half of what he's saying, and
Who the
and
fuck
then I
is
think
your dialect coach? The Minion?
yeah. Deadpool was like, wait a minute. He's like, I'm sorry.
What did he say?
The first time he spoke, he was like, wait a minute. It's been a long time since I've watched Sling Blade. He's like, you gotta say that again.
You're gonna have to say that again.
Like multiple times. He's like, come again? Like I can't
Yeah.
hear you. He's like, I don't understand. And yeah, that line, who is your dialect coach? The Minions. And then he's like, I think we're missing like very pivotal
Plot details here.
Plot details. Yeah. It's like, I don't know what's happening here. And that's kind of where X-23 comes through. It's kind of like, hey, like, we have a chance to do something. And kind of gets Logan back over to, to get him all on board to go in for that plan. And that's where they kind of roll up. And, hey, we got to, that's when they kind of, they're in the van. And then Gambit says something else.
Hold on. I think I have what he says. Hold on.
Well, before we get there, just while you're looking that up, that's where we get the kind of emotional moment between Logan and X-23.
Yeah.
Where
because they make their plan.
Yeah.
And they're all like, yeah, let's go, we're ready.
All
And then,
good.
and then
he goes to
Logan's
go
like,
drink.
screw that, I'm not
Nah,
going.
I'm just gonna
He's
stay
like,
here
you guys
and get
go
drunk."
kill yourselves.
Yeah.
But then they're talking, and Laura saying like, "Oh, you saved my life. You let me live."
Yeah, it may not be you, but you did save my life. Let me have a life. Like, you let me have a chance. to
And
do
other
stuff.
kids.
And other kids, too.
Until she got
That took it back. That took it back to the
snapped into
finale
the-
of Logan. Oh,
until she
man.
got TVA'd. and
Yeah, she somehow got
sent to the
TVA
void.
sent to the void for some reason. That's messed up. But
I like when they were explaining, like, yeah, we had a lot of people, there's 4 of us. And he's like, oh, who is this? Is it Magneto? And he's like, no, he died. Fuck.
yeah, or they're like, "Where's
That was-
Johnny?" It's like, "Oh, Johnny, I don't know, somewhere."
Well, I think somewhere where they said like, oh, when Magneto died,
Mhm.
they're like, oh, budget
What is
cuts.
his helmet? Oh,
Yeah,
no,
it's
he's
like-
like, oh, but what about his helmet?
Yeah.
He's like, no, she melted his helmet too. Damn it!
It's like, God damn it! Yeah, melted that shit too. Yeah, I think that was Blade too. Like, yeah,
They was just doing like the quick responses, like, damn.
yeah.
And then during some of the nonsense Gambit was saying, Deadpool says to him, he's like, man, I bet you were like best friends with Johnny. And then when he explains to them, like, oh yeah,
Johnny would have.
but Johnny
Yeah.
died. They're like, oh yeah, really? Oh man, Johnny died.
Yeah.
And then Wolverine says something
He's like,
hilarious.
yeah, he killed him. yeah. He,
Oh
like,
my god.
Well,
Oh, he said, when he says like, oh yeah, we kind of like knew him, but like he fought valiantly, or he made it sound like
Yeah,
he
like,
went
he
out
died-
like
he
better.
died- yeah,
and
he-
then Wolverine's like, you got that poor kid Johnny killed, and he's like, poor kid. He was,
He's like almost
he's like almost
yeah,
50.
he's almost 4K's almost 50. And then that could tie into a later one where someone else dies. Like, oh, he died here. Like, he died of murder. He died from murder, dude.
And I think at one point he said, oh, that wasn't my favorite Chris. I think after she
Yeah.
like skins him.
Yeah, it's like, oh, he wasn't my favorite Chris anyway. Yeah. Oh my
There's so
God.
many, man. There's so many.
There's so many
Like there's so
little
many where you could say like yeah, there's so many lines that not all 100%
You're not
are
gonna
maybe
get all of
funny,
them.
but because there's so many, like maybe 80% are like hilarious, and you probably won't even remember the other 20%, but they're still probably pretty funny. But yeah, there's just so many.
I remember there was one where it was like, oh, he really let himself go after the divorce.
Oh my god, that was like right before they got in the
Everyone
car.
was like, oh.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, he used to be shirtless all the time, but
Jeez. Yeah. That one was yeah. But if we get to I'm sorry.
This is where we get in the van.
okay,
and
yeah.
start
After he
heading
speaks to
towards-
X-23,
Yeah.
then the next scene is like them in the van where we don't know yet if Logan's with them, but everyone's all
bunched up.
punched up in this crappy Odyssey that's all
And he
messed up
takes
from their
out, like,
fight.
Bazooka.
Yeah, Blade has like a rocket launcher from the sunroof, and then
It
as
says
they're
from
pulling
Punisher.
as they're pulling up closer to the lair, which is the giant Ant-Man body. Gambit says, "Look at that. See the bigger man's composed. They not a one or another side." And like
They not even understand.
yeah, and you can't even like understand it. And then Deadpool, like the camera's like focused on them as if like the camera's like on top of the hood of the car.
'Cause they're like,
and then Deadpool's like, well, I think what Gambit's trying to say. it's like because nobody heard what he just said.
Gambit's trying to say, we gotta hit their hard and fast or whatever.
yeah, yeah. And then like right after he says it's like, all right, just pull up to Blade,
pull
and then
up to
the
Blade.
camera just goes up to
And
Blade.
the camera goes up the blade and he has the rocket launcher and
Oh
he
my
shoots
God,
through
it's too good.
through the Paul Rudd hands.
He's like, how many Punishers have there been? 5?
5?
And he's like, but there's only ever been one Blade.
There's only
ever
blade.
gonna
There's
be one blade.
And then everybody looks at the camera and just like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah. Just like, yeah. That was such a good joke. Oh my god. And then we get to, they bust out, they have the whole fight scene. Like you think that the fake out, like, oh, like, Wolverine didn't come through, but
But he did.
Logan
He
was
from
there in the
trunk.
back. He comes out from the trunk. They're like, ooh, he's back. And
I think what Gambit was trying to say is that it won't be easy. Like this whole line that Gambit says, he's just trying to say it won't be easy.
and then that's where they all are surrounded by all the goons, and that's when Gambit has the famous "Woo about to make a name for myself today," and then cool ass fight sequence.
Yeah, they all get together, so you finally get
Woo about to make a name for myself.
I think they all each go to like obviously a different villain. But one thing I noticed the second time while watching, Logan immediately goes to fight Lady Deathstrike, and he just kills her in like 2 seconds.
Yeah, this
Like,
Logan was
snaps the
hardcore.
neck open almost.
Yeah, like this Logan was hardcore, and like at the same time, like it must have been really messed up for him to not be able to like go and help out everybody who was in danger, like because
It's kind of like
yeah, it's kind of like his mental game there was really out of it, but yeah, we got a kick-ass fight scene. We got stuff with Elektra, we got stuff with X-23.
Yeah, everyone got their own
Everybody
like,
got-
cool moment to shine in the fight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like Blade's like sniping dudes with the pistol he's got, without the sword, but
He
Gambit
uses
with
his
the
boomerang,
Yeah.
like, boomerang
All
blade,
those-
I missed that, dude. That's the boomerang from part one.
Mhm.
Just
the boomerang blade, and then Gambit had his whole sequence
staff
of like
with the cards.
dude with the card. The fact that he started laying the cards on everybody and then has them has
It was
them
like
all
that
pop.
slow motion sequence where he's like kind of
Yeah, like
down.
where
and-
he does the magic mic dancing and then just kind of like
sure.
hits him into he lays all
whatever,
the
man.
cards.
He did like the freaking Marvel vs. Capcom Super, and like laid all
Yeah.
the cards.
He did
and then,
Cajun Explosion.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was
so
really cool, and because it was rated R, it was like they actually exploded.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
like popped.
And so
like
when
you
he
see like chest cavities.
stabbed that guy with the staff, like that guy exploded.
Yeah, which also had the kinetic energy in there too. Like, dude, that was
And then you had Elektra with
with her size. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
like she
Still has it, man.
Cool.
She
That
still
Electra,
has
yeah,
the spinning
Jennifer
and everything.
Garner still got it going. Like she's still moving. That's great for her, man. It was great to see everybody shine. Like really see them get their moments.
and like they said, get our legacy and like our goodbye,
Yeah, they wanted to have
Yeah,
like one
exactly.
last hurrah.
which was
X-23 put on her glasses from Logan.
Damn, that was cool
That was-
too.
that was
That was
fun.
really cool to see.
with the and she had like the backpack. or
Yeah,
something, like,
that was
the
so
glasses.
damn cool. And that gave them the chance for these guys to go up confront Cassandra. That's where we get the ultimate mind game because they needed the Juggernaut helmet. X-23, she took that head off, right? Like,
Well, yeah, after
Yeah.
she cut
Oh, yeah.
his his Achilles tendons, and,
Yeah.
or his ankles essentially.
He just like fell.
So I'm sure after that the head was
it's like,
easier.
It's time. Yep. Damn. Yeah, that was like the key is they get the Juggernaut helmet and put it on Cassandra. Which
Well, that's
was,
where we got the back and forth between Cassandra and Logan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We get to see like a little more.
of what's going on. It's like, I can
What
make
is
the
that?
voices stop. And he's like, you can? That's great. Thank you.
But I'm just stalling
Mind games.
you.
I'm stalling. And then helmet on, stabby McStab. And then that's where even like Pyro's like, oh, I have my deal with Mr. Paradox, and just kind of like
Punched in the
shoots her.
face.
Yeah.
And he tried to do like this whole speech, like, I'm sick and tired of following her orders, and Wolverine just punches him in the
Yeah,
face
he just goes,
and
shut
knocks
up.
him out.
Yeah, it's just like, that's not happening. Like, shut up. And then they make that deal of just like, get us home, and we'll take the helmet off. It's just like, oh,
It's
okay, fine,
like,
sure.
Oh, Charles would have
Yeah,
made me save you.
Yeah,
Can't
exactly.
sit here.
that was a cool
Yeah.
thing to kind of as the callback of like, hey, we can't have Patrick Stewart or James McAvoy here, but the idea of Charles and saying like the idealism was still there. Again, like
It was a good moment.
deep down, like you have those good little moments of good, like, hey, these are what these characters are about still. Like this is what they stand for, and like little things to help them remember. And then they let her go. The wild throwaway line of there being a Doctor Strange that showed up one time, I was like, oh, I guess she learned how to do that when she put her hot
Sling
dog
ring.
the hand. I don't
So
know.
what I mentioned last week that I noticed when I saw the movie, so the sling ring has a time stone and reality stone connected to it, which I guess
Oh,
makes it more understandable as to how they could just go to like
different.
Different
any
realities and time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Oh, damn. So yeah, that's one of those like, hey, you're not supposed to do that. Send to the void. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, you're not allowed to be here. Imagine the
So
Cumberbatch.
whatever
notice
version
that.
of Doctor Strange that had that, I was like, wow, that's a
Yeah.
pretty good sling ring. But
I didn't even notice that
Yeah.
there were
Like,
still
next time you watch it, keep an eye out.
I feel like they maybe
Next time.
pointed at it a little longer just so you could see it, but I guess I didn't.
Like, yeah, you just see the, like, I just saw the ring. I was like, oh, okay, that's the ring. But, like, I
Yeah.
didn't notice the
Yeah,
green
yeah.
and the
Yeah, me too.
reality, the green and red or whatever it
Yeah.
was.
Well,
But,
they put the helmet on her, and they're like, all right, I'll take it some. She's like, well, I can't because I have the helmet on. She's like, and once you take it off, I'll just kill you.
You're
You're like,
like-
damn it.
why are you like this?
yeah, why are you like this?
And she's like, I don't know.
she's like, I don't know. Like,
She had that one line about the Ennio box set.
oh my god, yes. I'm gonna do this while flipping my bean to the Enya box set. I was like, holy shit.
And
Cassandra's
Deadpool-
unhinged.
But Deadpool goes, there's a box set?
There was a box set? No way. See, I didn't catch that part. Yeah, so there's a box
Yeah,
set.
because we were like probably laughing at the previous line, but I heard it the second time.
Damn, there's so many of
God.
these things.
Yeah, there's like too many times where either it's loud or there's music playing or you're just laughing that you missed 3 other lines because they come so fast.
And then once we get through the portal, we get to our famous
Yeah, we
Deadpool.
We get to the Deadpool core versus Deadpool Wolverine, and that's where we get like the storefront. We had the just Liefeld's Just Feet, which is hilarious because those characters never are shown never shown their legs. It's just from like their like busts and up or whatever. But yeah, that whole scene was cool. That's where he has the dog. Was that okay? So the scene where
So they come back because they jump through the portal.
Yeah.
And then they land back into his universe, Deadpool's universe, on top of one of the cars on a Kia.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
He's like,
on the-
oh, it feels like a Kia.
yeah, it feels like a Kia.
Like at the dealership that he worked
Wow,
at.
are you Wolverine? It's like, yep, and Disney's gonna make him do this till he's 90. And then there's the part later on, it's like, till you're 90. And that's where, he gets back to the area, like, oh, we gotta stop this dude because now Cassandra wants to come in and do all, and basically use the whole, like, the MacGuffin of the movie was like, hey, I'm gonna use the Time Ripper to, like, not just prune this one timeline really quickly, or, like, rip it quick, but, like, rip all the timelines and make it just be the void, like, just the
and then
nothingness.
she'll just be the Queen of the Void. So.
Yeah, it's just like, I'll be Queen of the Void. That's it. and
sticking her fingers like all throughout Paradox's face.
Yeah,
and she's just like
make
dragging
it
him,
stop.
dragging him to the subway, like through his face.
Yeah, that was freaky. That was pretty unsettling in like an effective way. And at the same time, it's like, oh, how do we stop her? Wait, we have the Deadpool Corps that had to show up, which is weird because if the Deadpool Corps, if Nicepool talked about the Deadpool Corps is all over the place, like, did he come with them first? Like, I didn't know. I didn't catch that. That's why I gotta watch it again.
I don't know. I'm not really sure how they even got there.
And did Deadpool do the elaborate ruse to get his guns before, like, they plowed through everybody? Was that it? Like,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, they did that. Okay.
Well, that's where he's holding him.
Yeah,
as
he's
a
like,
shield.
wait, I need to
As
use
a
a shield.
And he's like, it's okay. You're gonna regenerate.
He's like,
What?
what? He's like, I can regenerate? He's like, oh no. And then that's where beforehand we get the whole, like, Deadpool mentioned, it's like, oh, we have Van Wilder here. He's like, oh, breaking a... He's like, oh, that's cute.
Because they were fighting over Peggy. They're fighting over
the dog pool.
And he's like, oh, he says something about like they to let her choose who her papa is. He's like, so who's it gonna be? It's gonna be Original Recipe or Van Wilder over here.
He's like, oh.
He's like, I can do references too. Fourth wall breaking too.
I can gently... What is it, Zach?
I can gently knock.
I can gently knock on the fourth wall too.
He turns to the
proposal.
camera.
It's just he's like,
and Deadpool's like, what was that?
He's like, what was that? Bitch, you think that's what I sound like? He's so offended.
And then he's just like, all right, don't worry. And he just keeps saying like, I think that food truck has medical supplies. And Wolverine's like, no.
Just like,
he's like,
no,
they don't have that.
And then
he's like, okay, well, we're gonna go over here to try to get some medical supplies. And he just like slowly walks across the street
as he's getting peppered with every
And
bullet.
then he stops right in the middle.
And then he gets, he's like, oh, it's like, don't worry,
you're gonna make it.
You're gonna make it. Oh no, he didn't make it.
and then his head got blown off.
And then Wolverine's trying to like go through too, but then he just grabs Dogpool and they're like, wait! That's when he's walking with the dog to get over to him.
Because it's just like, he just like slowly walks, like looking at all of them
just like,
with the dog in his hand.
What?
And they're like, okay.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, okay. Yeah, we get there.
And
But
he's like, it's murder.
No, that's where he goes, oh, he died of here. No, he died of murder.
He died of murder, you dumb fuck.
Yeah, he died of murder, you dumb fuck. God, Hugh Jackman
The
just
way
got to
he
have
said
fun.
it.
Hugh Jackman really got to just like let it rip. God bless him. That was great. And then that's where we get the ultimate the ultimate fight montage with Madonna's Living Like a Prayer. And then that's where we get the ultimate
Oh my God.
like
That's
pop
the
off.
yeah.
The ultimate pop off where as
Everyone was clapping.
part of the outfit for dude whips out the cowl that he had the whole time. He's like, you
He's
saved
like,
it
where
to
do you have that?
What do you have? You saved it for the last act now? Is this like? He's like, why would you save it? What did he say? He's like, oh,
Like we waited 24 years for this.
yeah. He's like, we waited for so long for this. He's like, what? When you gonna wait? He's like, I use it for killing. He's like, oh, okay. Like, and he's like, not every day I get to kill a whole bunch of you. And that's where he's
like, do you want me to kill 100 of you? Okay.
He's like, okay, I get to kill 100 of you.
That was like his most happiest.
That's his so happiest, but also like kind of savage too. And that's where we get the whole core montage. They rip through the bus.
The whole one shot, like the kind of like the portrait style, just like one shot of them plowing through.
Yeah.
The different.
Well, the different Deadpools. We had a Lady Deadpool. Shout out to Blake Lively. You had a Kid Pool, who is the raunchiest out of all of them.
Mm-hmm.
What did he say?
daughter.
Like, oh yeah, he's like, oh, get Wolverine's dick out your mouth or something. Yeah, and he's just like, whoa. He's like, yeah, she's the roughest of all of us.
And then you had Head Pool, which was
that Nathan Fillion?
Yeah.
Nathan
Okay,
Fillion.
good.
You had Cowboy
Pool.
with,
Dance Pool.
Matthew McConaughey.
Matthew McConaughey was Cowboy Pool.
Dance Pool is the one in the beginning.
Yeah, that's just him dancing. That's just him. But
Welsh Pool.
you had Welsh Pool. Shout out to Paul Mullen, who was under the suit there doing all of that.
You got
Soccer
Canada
player.
Pool.
Canada Pool was Hyper Canada, and a whole bunch of others too. Like there was an all black one, which might have been like an Ultimates variant. They had quite a few.
They had like a ninja one.
Yep, there's a samurai one. There was like a semi-futuristic like cyborg one. And then the very end, which is great, is that like after the whole fight sequence, again, like I don't want to undersell how awesome that fight sequence was.
Well, as they're going through the bus, you do get the Stan Lee cameo with the Stanley steamer.
The Stanley's steamer, yeah. That's like like it works so well. There's no way you're not gonna make a Stanley steamer joke. Like,
and then my favorite like scene I think is when they jump out of the bus. And you get that like slow motion like,
superhero pose.
Yeah. And then obviously Deadpool falls and
he's
like, no, now they're gonna remember that I fell.
Yeah, they're gonna remember. I forgot about that. Yeah. And then that's where like they're all through it, like, yeah, we got through it. And then they all start like regenerating again. It's like, oh. These ones regenerate. And that's when Peter rolls up in the Deadpool suit, like really.
Yeah, we all have a Peter.
We all have a Peter. And then they roll like, yeah, guys, wait, stop, it's Peter. And then like Peter's like, aligns all of them like together and they're like, yeah, Peter's wearing the fuck out of that suit.
Like, let's just head over while they get distracted by
Peter. It's like that.
I think Kidpool says when I want your opinion,
when I want your opinion, we'll take Wolverine's dick out your mouth. Yeah. Whoa! It's like, sorry, Kidpool's the worst out of all of us. Yeah, that was great. And
that was one of his daughters, right?
Yeah,
one of his daughters.
And then so that's where we finally get to the whole like, the Time Ripper. You have to kind of like reduce the power source, but it's like someone's gonna just be atomized and. Wolverine, that's what they have that nice like back and forth of like, no, I'm gonna do it, and then Deadpool does the whole thing like, yeah, like I need to find a purpose, so he he locks Logan out of it, and then Deadpool decides like, oh, I'm gonna do it. It's like, oh wait, and that's the whole point. It's like, oh wait, they can't reach, and that's when
one person couldn't do it.
Yeah, so they had to both do it. And that's where we get the chorus Madonna when Wolverine finally jumps through. They both grab it, and as they're trying to like break through everything. We get the big monster, and then we get like the massive shirt rip off, and Deadpool's looking like
he has enough time.
Oh my god,
he's over here like
dying,
getting drained,
like freaking
but
out.
He has to look over. He's like, damn, like dude went in.
And then,
I think
which apparently is real. Well, people were thinking that maybe it was like CGI.
No.
And then the director's like, no, that was real.
The only thing CGI there is just like the color of like the
of the skin and like all the stuff
like
radiating,
the red glowing veins and all that.
Right before he locks Logan out, he says like he says something like
he says didn't he say like you're the best Wolverine?
You're the best. Yeah, you're the best Wolverine.
You're the best
of
Wolverine.
all of them.
He said like I've been waiting for this team up for a long time.
Yeah. It was a cool moment.
Yeah, it was a nice bro moment. But I still so the first time we watched it, during the sequence where they were fighting all the pools, the Deadpools, I was focusing more on Deadpool, and then the second time I focused more on Wolverine. Because I like that at one point Deadpool gets like knocked out, and so it's just Wolverine fighting, and then like Deadpool comes back and like helps him out later.
And then
but there's like a couple nasty ones, man. I think Deadpool lifts one and just like impales him with like his own sword, and like he like slowly slides down his sword. There's one that gets like his sword stuck through his head, and it gets like stuck on the front of the bus. I was like,
oh, wait, we gotta talk about that.
There's like a lot of.
We gotta go back and talk about that one TVA agent who talked about like you're the worst thing to come out of Canada since like.
Oh
yeah. What did he say? Like, oh, Celine Dion's the only good thing to come out of Canada, and he's like, you get my country.
No, he said Hugh Jackman was the only thing.
Hugh Jackman's Australian.
He's not Canadian.
Yeah, he's not Canadian. No,
yeah.
He said
Logan, the character is Canadian, right?
I think so.
Maybe he said Logan.
Yeah.
I think he said Logan. Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't think he said Celine Dion.
No, he didn't.
That's why I got confused.
Yeah, I remember he mentioned something.
Well, he was making fun of.
Yeah, he's making fun of Deadpool and still making fun of Canada, and he's just like. He bounces the sword ricochet into his mouth. He's like, "You get my country out your fucking mouth."
He Will Smith him.
Yeah,
and then he goes, "And my sword."
And my sword. Yeah.
I remember
that kill was nuts. So everybody got excited, like, "Oh."
Yeah, that was it.
That was a reaction.
That was such a good thing. It's such a good reference,
dude. That was insane. All right, going back. Yeah, the whole thing.
Or in sync.
In sync. Insanely in sync. All right, and that's the whole like I think everything we get Hunter B-15, which was great. From Loki, she came back, and that's when like Peter rolls up on the bottom, like no, hey, I'm this thing's here, I'm in charge of this. And then she's like, damn, you look good in that suit. And I was like, what the fuck is going on?
What is happening?
Well, but the thing is, there was like a long pause. He just shows up, and then she's staring at him, and it's just like very quiet. And then Paradox is just like looking around. And he's like, "What the fuck is happening?" Like he screams super loud because it was like a 20-second pause of nothing.
And like
happening.
he was totally like the person trying to like fourth wall, like, what the fuck is going on here?
And that was after like Deadpool and Wolverine came back. Right?
Yeah, shirtless,
They
but
came back
still
to
with the
life.
cowl on, and like it's like
they came out
Marvel Jesus.
And then as Logan comes without his shirt, like everybody's like,
whoa,
look at this
it's
man.
just like, hey, put those titties away. And they give him a little
Like
jacket.
the same dude that was like ogling at Deadpool, he was like, oh my god, look
Yeah.
at Logan.
Everyone was. That whole theater was too. Like, holy crap! And then that's where we kind of get the whole whole resolution. And then we get what's nice is at the very end we have that whole moment at the end where they're back at Deadpool's apartment, and they had that what happens, like, is Wolverine going to stay here? Is he going to go back to that other universe where he let everybody down? It's like, hey, you know what? No, he can stay here and do his own thing. And that's where he asked for that favor, like, hey, there's some other people there, see if we can help him out. And it's nice that they brought back Laura back to hang out with Logan there, and has his own little mini like family again. It's a nice way to kind of like tie it up and end the movie.
So I think I mentioned it last week, and I'm still a little confused about timeline wise. So Laura belongs to that universe anyway, right? Because they kind of said that the movie Logan is in the same universe as Deadpool.
Yeah, but for some reason she still gets pruned in that future version of it, and then she kind of got brought back.
Right.
Anyway.
So my question
the older
is,
version is now,
like this movie of Deadpool, like what year does it take place in? Because Logan was in like 2029 or something like that.
2027 or 2029, yeah, something like that.
This is
Is this after Logan, and therefore that old Logan is already dead?
No,
This is before that, and he went into the future of his own timeline to dig up the body of dead Logan. Is that what he did?
He went into the future to dig up Logan.
Okay.
But it's the same.
Yeah, the
universe.
same universe. Okay. Because that was the one thing I was like, wait a minute. So they like acknowledge that they're in the same universe. Like essentially, Deadpool's universe is like all of the Fox universe that we know it.
Mm-hmm.
Then I was like, so then how is he digging up the body? But I was like, oh well, you have a teleporting machine or the temp pad that allows you to go anywhere. So I was like, but I don't know if they done that. Yeah, they have done that. Just gone through different time periods within the same universe. Okay, so then it's just
technically they could go to any time.
right. So it's just
that was one of those. I'm like, I'm confused, but
and
excuse for me to watch it again and try to figure it out.
And the thing is, they probably didn't think about it too hard either. And it's one of those that's probably just like, you know what, doesn't matter because
This is too entertaining.
it's a minor hiccup in a very entertaining movie.
I mean, the one thing that took me a while to like put together was like, oh, your universe and time,
because
is dying.
it's dying because you don't have an anchor being.
That's like one of the like one things I'm just like.
But then
what?
it's like, so the anchor being died, but then you
but he
have
dies in the future.
Yeah.
that hasn't happened yet, according to at least according to Deadpool.
But then Paradox says like, oh, it'll take like a couple thousand years for it to go
So
away.
like, why does it?
So we're
matter?
gonna split it because he's like, I want to.
He wants to.
He wants to
get
do
rid
it
of it
quicker.
now.
No, I know, but
I
I'm
want
just
it to
saying,
be
like in general,
painless.
then why even have like the idea of like the being if like nothing
It's gonna take
happens
1,000
way
years.
later? It's just kind of weird.
I think it was just there to like make the point of like Logan and
Well, because I guess because in the TVA they can see any timeline at any point in time.
yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because
So-
they exist outside of it.
Yeah, and they might end up using that anchor being
Maybe
in
something
later movies.
in the
yeah.
movies.
Maybe they'll say Tony Stark was the anchor being of 616, or somebody else. Maybe it's Spider-Man or Captain America. Who knows?
Who knows? Maybe the anchor being is something you can
Anchor being is
inherit.
Doctor Doom.
Yeah. But
We shall see.
we shall see.
So-
But yeah, man,
But
this movie's great.
Very cool. They come back. They have like a party back at his house with everybody. Logan and X-23 is there, and they kind of make it seem like he gets back together with Vanessa.
Starting, he's like, I did this.
He's
for you.
like-
I mean, that was a bummer just seeing that they weren't together. Like, damn, he like saved her from time.
But at the same time, like he was like she was trying to give him direction or like help him like do something with it. And so like, now I couldn't be an Avenger, so I'm gonna go sell cars.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of like, that's gonna fizzle anything out in general. So yeah, that's your fallback like sad guy job is to sell.
So she only
Kios.
liked him when he like killed people for money. Like,
No, she liked him when he had drive and purpose, and he lost all that. He's just like, I'm a shell of a man. I'm a shell of a person. It's just like, hey, buddy, I'm trying to help you, but he didn't want to. So there's that. But I mean, what was nice? The only thing I wish we would have had more is like more X-Men cameos.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't show really any. Or
I was
X-Men.
expecting them to show at least like Scott and Storm.
Yeah, because
they mentioned it a couple times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we didn't get any,
Like I know,
We got the young ones in Deadpool 2.
like it might have been weird to
Which
show
was
them in
also in the
his
future.
like
Yeah.
as a flashback as to like, oh, they're all dead. It's like, would you really want to see them all like as they're dying? So maybe it would have been weird to do that.
Yeah,
But they should have
if it
at
was
least shown them in like another capacity.
Especially if it's supposed to be like respectful of like the Fox
Right.
movieverse, which, if we tie into that, we got the end credits, like we're like, oh, what's gonna happen in the mid credits or whatever, and we get like all the really nice nostalgic behind the scenes stuff.
Which was nice to see. Like
Yeah.
a goodbye to Fox.
With-
For its ups and
to
downs.
good riddance by Green Day, which was great. Yeah, that there was a lot of really cool stuff seeing, especially from the X-Men stuff. Like I remember seeing that behind the scenes footage, so like them bringing it back up again and seeing stuff like it's stuff from like the
Fantastic
different
Four.
Fantastic Fours. You have
Even Fantastic.
yeah, is that the stuff from Days of Future Past, Wolverine, heck, even like just
I'm surprised they didn't show anything. Did they show anything of Elektra in that montage? Or Daredevil?
I think they showed Daredevil.
I think they showed the Ben Affleck Daredevil and her in it.
Yeah.
They should have cut immediately to Evanescence, but that's
They should have.
yeah they should
Did they
have.
show Blade? No,
I don't think they had
wasn't
any
there.
Blade stuff in
Well,
there.
Blade wasn't
Yeah.
even Fox.
No, that's why, because
Yeah.
Blade was not
And-
Fox. It was Sony or
I'm
something.
surprised they didn't make any reference to Happy Hogan because he was in the Daredevil movie.
Yes, he
Like,
was.
I'm surprised Ryan Reynolds.
I
didn't
think
say
I
something
had
about
seen
that.
somewhere that he was gonna be in the movie, but as
I think they-
Foggy.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
And I think when I saw him as Happy, I was like, oh,
This
that's
is
right.
better, and I think
yeah, it was a better.
It added
better
more.
cameo.
I think he didn't make a reference to it because more of a respectful thing of what was going on in terms of like, oh, there's gravity to have a Happy Hogan here. Like this means something. Like it almost means just as much as when Paradox was showing him all the MCU stuff. Disney. that shit's still too funny. But yeah, that was a really nice kind of little like send off moment. It was really cool. Like so long, Fox. But also, I'm going to Disney, bitch.
And then finally we have that end credit sequence, which we
The
finally
post-credit-
see.
You can quote me. Is it, you can quote me. He's like, you see, how's that? He's like, how's that for shit?
So yeah,
Let's
because
take a rewind.
because we didn't really talk about what he was saying or what Deadpool said.
I don't know what he was saying. So much
Johnny Storm
crap.
was saying.
So many
He's
insults.
like, I've never even said those words.
See, I don't even know what those words mean.
Yeah,
And you're kind of like, damn, Deadpool just
He
just
threw
threw
him
it.
under the bus.
he just threw that man under the bus. It's just like, no, he actually said that shit. Like, okay.
Yeah, and the scene was that it was
and he was
recording.
reenacting it, but
And you can quote me. He's like, I will. No, I forgot what he says after that. Where he's just like,
yeah, because he says more after that part.
but then we'll go now to Anthony because Anthony has a list of
Yeah, I have a couple
bunch of
lines.
these quotes.
Yeah, I've been jotting down
if
lines
you
and
want to
stuff that
go
I've seen
through
online.
some favorite ones before we then finish.
So
up the
when he's at
episode.
the TVA, when he first gets there, he says the power in the Marvel universe is about to change forever.
oh
Making-
man, I love
making
that
fun
line.
of
The Rock.
from Black
Black
Adam.
Adam.
Yep.
instead of the hierarchy.
The hierarchy of power. Let me see, and then there's
He also said something of like, "Am I gonna marvel at this cinematic?"
Yeah, experience. Or something.
Experience.
Yeah. That was
I was
awesome.
like, "Oh my god."
when he brings back Wolverine to the TVA to show him like, hey, look, I brought a Wolverine, and then he wakes up. He says, "Welcome to the MCU." By the way,
You're joining
a bit of a low point. Oh, that's the other part. Is like, Mr. Wilson, you seem to have soiled yourself while you were unconscious. Like, I wasn't unconscious.
Yeah.
That was unconscious. Who's that?
Yeah.
And when he's talking about, like, did you get his Magneto here? It's like, no, he's dead. And he goes, now Disney gets cheap.
Yeah. Now Disney gets cheap.
And then, there's another line where he goes, it's like Disney shoved Pinocchio's face in my ass and started lying. Because they kept like every time he thought, like, I think that was after he said, she also melted Magneto's helmet. He's like, damn it. And he just like couldn't get a break because he wanted to see another X-Men.
He says about the recent Marvel movies have been like a miss, and he's like, it's a miss after miss.
Yeah, he's talking about the multiverse. It's like, can we stop with this multiverse stuff?
That was when you were talking to the
not
Deadpool.
working. The Deadpool core.
And then,
like, come on, guys, it's just not working.
Nice Pool's like, it's been on a steady
climb. It's kind of going back.
Wesley Snipes said one of his famous lines from the movie.
Some motherfuckers are still trying to always
ice skate
uphill. Oh my god, that line is so good. That's from the first Blade. Like, I think he says it to Big Bad in the movie. He's like, some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill.
He says it as like they're about to like start the fight in front of the stronghold.
Yeah.
When they kind of like have their backs to the staircase, and so when they're trying to like hold everybody off. So there's Deadpool saying, "I've got a black belt in Karen."
Yeah.
He says Wolverining is hard, like when he is using the claws and like killing everybody. He's like, sorry guys, Wolverining is hard.
Wolverining is hard.
In that same scene, the very beginning of the movie, I don't think we mentioned it, there are 206 bones in the human body. 207 if I'm watching Gossip Girl. Another Blake Lively shout out.
Which line did he say something about Scoutmaster Kevin?
Yeah, I'm getting there. He says, I believe at the end when Hunter B-15 says like, I have something like huge to show you or something like that.
Like,
and he's like, that's what Scoutmaster Kevin used to say. The Stanley Steamer ad, it says it's called the Friendly Neighborhood Cleaner Stanley Steamer.
Oh,
wow.
Nice.
Okay.
I didn't see that part.
Yeah.
Friendly Neighborhood.
By the end of the movie, Wolverine says to Deadpool, "You are really God's perfect idiot," which I think was a callback to the first movie, like during the beginning credits, when it was like starring this guy instead of starring God's perfect idiot.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty cool callback. When they're in the car and then like Wolverine's had it with him, he's like, "You better not say one more word." He just goes, "Gubernatorial."
Gubernatorial.
Is that even a word?
Deadpool tells Wolverine, he's like, he's Mr. PG-13 except for the last one.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the whole line about the dialect coach. He says to Gambit, "I'm sorry, beautiful. I'm trying to be gentle here, but who is your dialect coach? The Minions? I feel like we're missing an important exposition here." That's when Gambit was saying it's gonna be difficult to remove the helmet off his head without taking the head off, but he says it in a very Gambit way that like you can't even understand what he's saying. And then Deadpool's like, I have no idea what this man just said.
That weird Cajun accent.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna bother trying to replicate it.
There were points where I was like, "Oh, the Cajun accent sounds good." And there was like, "What the hell?"
Like, no.
I'm like, "Okay, this is way too inconsistent to make this an actual thing."
When Wolverine puts the cowl on, he says, "What's the wind resistance on those blowjob handles?"
Yeah. It's still, by the way, it still looks like two sides of Batman's face looking at each other in real life.
They really did make it look like that. That's crazy.
I believe this was the scene after he goes back to the TVA with Wolverine, and then that's when you kind of find out that Paradox is like, more devious and he's trying to destroy his
He just wants to destroy his
universe.
to get out of the way.
And then like after he does his whole explanation, he goes, "Come again, this time in my ear."
This time in my ear, yeah.
And then I think I have the whole monologue of Wolverine in the car.
Yeah,
Like,
you don't have
which
to,
is like,
yeah.
I don't, if you want, I can read it, but it's like,
I don't want to.
Hugh Jackman masterclass.
I would let the movie kind of go through the whole thing, but yeah, it was a masterclass of Hugh Jackman just getting all the frustrations and the different things
how
that characters
serious
going
Yeah,
through.
because it was like there's all these very funny moments, and all of a
God sick
sudden
joke
he
that
starts
you're the only thing who
speaking.
can't die.
Yeah, he starts speaking. It's just like 2 minutes of him ripping Deadpool. I was like, jeez. But yeah, it's and then we've said a whole bunch of others throughout the episode.
Honestly, in the end, it's like the movie.
So many-
like
so
it's like a
many
mix of
quips.
hey, this movie was made well, but also a whole like fan service done in a good way of like hey, subvert expectations, but we're gonna like it gave an excuse to do fan service without it being too like over the top or too distracting, if that makes any sense.
I think it definitely had, between all the Deadpool movies, like definitely the most jokes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I feel like the majority of the jokes landed. Like, I thought it was
Yeah, some stuff might have been just so rapid fire, but yeah. Now before we wrap it up, like in terms of runtime, is this the longest one out of the three?
I don't know, because this one's like 2 hours and 5 minutes or something like that. I think the
It
other
didn't-
ones
it
are
didn't
roughly
feel
the
that
same.
The first one I know is
Like hour
kind of
45.
yeah, like hour 50.
So this one's 2 hours 8 minutes.
So the first one is 108 minutes.
Okay, so an hour and 48.
The second one is an hour and 120 minutes.
2
2
hours.
hours
So
exactly.
it is the longest.
And
And
by
then
a
this
few
is
minutes.
128.
So since the longest movie, obviously gonna have the most jokes. Yeah, that makes sense for it to having the most jokes. But I mean, I think we've kind of hit all the.
It was a solid runtime.
Yeah,
Like,
but-
the 2 hours was.
Yeah, 2 hours and 8 minutes makes sense. But I think we hit all like the big stuff. Like, you know, then there's the other like really tiny stuff I've used. You know, people are trying to like zoom in on photos or whatever. I'm not gonna get into that, but overall, like everybody, the consensus of the popcorn watch list is that
Well, something I saw that was zoomed in that I didn't catch. Apparently, at the very end, the post-credit scene when he's replaying
Oh, I heard about this.
the Human
Yes.
Torch scene, because he's at the TVA and
Yeah.
he goes to the TVs to replay what was recorded from Human Torch. In one of the TVs in the corner that I would have never noticed unless you paused it because you probably had an illegal copy of the movie somehow. Apparently, in one of the TVs, you see Gambit, so like alluding that like he was saved and probably got put back into his universe that I guess doesn't
Doesn't
really
exist.
exist.
So maybe-
but maybe it's like a possibly in the future
Let's get
you'll
this
get
man a movie.
maybe not him, but maybe there'll be a Gambit movie at some point.
Or that he appears in whatever future
Secret
X
Wars,
Men movie.
if there's in Secret Wars, if they're just like bring everybody back that's been in every movie,
Probably.
he might
Everyone's here.
Yeah, it's like Smash,
Smash
Brothers.
Brothers.
He might be
For real.
in. He might be in one scene going whatever he says in his accent.
One thing that I also want to point out too is it has to do with like what multiverse like the multiverse numbers or like the universe
Uh-huh.
numbers. When he goes to interview to be an Avenger, it's Earth 616.
Yeah, that's what the MCU has titled the sacred timeline, like the one that we've been watching.
So then, why is it that in Across the Spider-Verse
Because they want it to be
they call
cooler.
it like
Because Sony wants to do its own thing. That's the short. of
So
it.
apparently, I think the main timeline, and I think in the comics, that's the correct number. What is it, like some
616.
69999 or something like
It was
that?
199999.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's apparently correct, but the MCU has stated like this one is called 616.
Yeah,
Like,
we
in
refer to
MCU.
ourselves as 616.
Because I thought that if it was gonna be 199999, that Earth 616 would be the comic book continuity, and Marvel would want to keep like the movies not the same timeline so that they can, or not the same universe, so that way they can tie in the Earth 616 from the comics with
Maybe
the
I don't know.
MCU,
This is
but
where-
as like as
Yeah,
as a
I think
It's
because
just
you
numbers.
get it. Yeah, it's just numbers in the end. Because if you go,
Because
if you,
the Fox one they just made 10005 or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like 3 zeros and a 5.
or 10,003. I think it was 10,003 or 5. I don't remember if it was 3 or 5.
yeah,
It's
like
a five.
at a certain point, someone just has to have like a Rolodex of what those numbers mean. That's it. Be done with it. That's it. Done. It's over. Yeah. So
This is from Mirage.
yeah.
That too.
Yeah, down to in the end. Do we rank it like in between the three
Yeah.
Deadpools?
Sure.
Man,
down.
but I like all three of them. Like I don't want to.
Of course you do.
It sucks
but
to have to put.
There's
Like,
clearly ones that are better than others.
okay.
Yeah,
Right?
I put 3 slightly above 1. Sorry, so 3 slightly above 2, and then 1 a distant third.
Really?
Wow.
Interesting.
I like the first one. I'm just saying that there's a big difference in quality from the first one to the second one.
I mean, the first one's definitely a smaller movie. Like
Yeah.
you can tell. Like
You can tell it's
there's-
like low budget.
Yeah,
Or
so
lower
low-
budget.
You'd say
or-
yours was
Mine is 3, 2, 1.
1.
But there's like a smaller gap between 3 and 2 than the gap
Two.
between 2 and
I'm
1.
not racist.
Interesting.
I love Deadpool too.
Interesting.
Didn't expect.
I would put them
Interesting.
very close to each other as going from lowest to highest is 2, 1, 3, but they're like so close.
Interesting.
Like 2, 1, 3
Oh, you put 1 over 2. Okay.
I think I'm gonna go 1, 3, 2.
from top to bottom.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the first movie is like, I don't know if it's underrated, but I think it's like a legit good movie. Like not even like a superhero movie. Like it's a good movie. And so I guess story wise, and also on top of that, all the fun Deadpool stuff. I just think overall, it's like the most complete package. But I will say this third one is by far the funniest one. The third one is by far the funniest one to me.
Yeah.
And so like it's just so entertaining that I really like the second movie too, but I just feel like I could rewatch this third one like at any point, and I would rather watch this one more than the second one. So yeah, 1, 3, 2 for me.
I'm
Like the Juggernaut song in part 2.
So one of my
Shit balls.
so that's what I love about these movies. Those stupid little things that
Captain Deadpool. No, just Deadpool.
that's from the first movie.
That's from part one,
That's
yeah.
my favorite part of that movie.
The
Where it's like
montage where
the
he's-
montage of him like just
You're gonna get
killing
killed by a
different people.
Zamboni.
Yeah, and it's just like, and then he has like his own theme song playing in the background. It's like it's super cool, Deadpool, and then it's like on top of the stupid song, and then what he's doing in those scenes. It's like I thought that scene was hilarious. He's like, you better not get away from me. I'm gonna kill you in 5 minutes because he's on the Zamboni in the ice, and he's just going so slow. Oh my god, yeah. So like stuff like that. I just felt like the first movie is like the most complete, just like story and funny and superhero wise. But yeah,
Superhero
part 3 is
landing.
awesome. Part 3 is hilarious.
Danny, close it out.
I'm closer to Anthony's rating on this one.
Cool.
So it'll be 1 and 3, just like
They're so
Right
close.
there.
That's why I like mine's that 3. That's ever so slightly.
Two-
They're,
a
they're
little
all
lower.
to me.
But they're all really
close.
good,
It's
yeah.
like
it's a solid trilogy.
Yeah.
Solid trilogy.
8-5, 8-4, 8-3. Like if you want to do decimals or something like that. Like, something
But
like that.
I think the first one is more of a, like you said, a whole complete package, story wise, humor, action
And it
sequences.
was kind of like unexpected because like
It's a Valentine's Day movie.
yeah, well we saw the trailers and like, oh wow, this might be pretty cool, but it was just like there hadn't been a movie like that before.
We leaked. Test footage was leaked. Oh no! Who wonder who could have done that? And then that's how we got the movie.
Yeah, and I just think the story is better. Like this one, there's a story, but it's like a loosey goosey.
But
But the thing is, it's just so funny,
Yeah.
and so entertaining that it's just like I kind of don't care that much about whatever they're trying to do in the story, and ultimately it didn't. It, at least for now, it doesn't seem like there are that many ramifications of this movie
was
compared
kind
to
of
the whole
self-contained,
MCU.
too.
It was almost like a Guardians of the Galaxy, like maybe
Yeah,
like
they're doing
3.
their
It was
own
kind of like
thing,
its
yeah.
own thing.
It's.
So-
I think reason why Anthony likes 1 above everyone because the Stanley cameo is him DJing in a strip club.
Yeah, that part.
That was actually really funny.
Just like on Jones and Chastity.
Yeah. Like, and you can tell Stanley had a lot of fun with that. Hey, that was a lot of fun.
I mean, when he takes his mask off, he has a picture of Hugh Jackman stapled to his
Stapled
face.
to his
Like-
face. She's like, no, take it out. He's just like, ow. No, that's
back
great.
with the staples with the
Yeah.
hair system.
It's a hair system.
Or like that one line where he tells Dopinder in the first scene, in the first movie, he's like, Merry Christmas, Dopinder. He's like, Happy random Tuesday in April to you too, Mr.
Mr. Pool. We left all the guns back there. Yeah. All right. Cool. Yeah, that's our rundown of all the spoilerific stuff on Deadpool. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's been a wild summer. We got some other stuff coming up soon. Can't wait to bring out next week's or next episode. We'll we got some stuff. We'll leave a bit of surprise. Maybe we'll talk about Alien Romulus. Maybe we'll have Zach watch Blade. Now that he's inspired to see why Wesley Snipes was such a big deal in the 90s.
That'll be a good follow-up.
Yeah, that would be a follow-up. Did we end up watching Demolition Man?
Nope.
No.
No, so he doesn't even know. Dude, you don't even know, dude. Damn, man. Just have him watch like a whole bunch of Wesley Snipes films. So until next time, see you in Disneyland, bitches.
Bye.
Let's fucking go.